Hello, welcome to Enchantment of Eternity, and now it's time for another video where I do some more Star Trek polls to determine which episode I will be reviewing next. I know I haven't done all the ones from the previous polls, but I recorded them, so just about done them. They'll be released shortly, so now I gotta start working on the next batch of polls. Now, over the past couple of months, the last video I did 4 polls, and then also in addition to those 4 polls, I did 2 Patreon only polls just for my Patreon supporters. So I did 6 Star Trek episode review polls, and out of those 6, 5 of those Deep Space Nine episodes won, and only 1 Enterprise episode won. The rest is Deep Space Nine always wins. And so, I like Deep Space Nine just as much as the next guy, especially someone who's a true Trekkie who thinks Deep Space Nine is the best show, because it is. But I want a little bit of variety in my episode reviews and not constantly doing Deep Space Nine episodes. So I have come up with a different system for this next batch of polls. So instead of each poll having 1 episode from each of the 5 series, original series, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, instead of doing that, I'm going to do 5 polls, and each poll will consist only of episodes from each of the 5 series. So the first poll will just be the original series, and the next poll will just be Next Generation, and the poll after that will just be Deep Space Nine, and the poll after that will just be Voyager, and the poll after that it will just be Enterprise. That way, you'll be voting more for the episode rather than which show you prefer, if that makes any sense. Now, I don't think I'm always going to do it this way. I might change it up later. But, yeah, so these will be 5 polls that will last me until I think November. But then after these 5 polls in late November, December, January, and even February, I'm going to actually pause from doing Star Trek episode reviews again. I know, I'm sorry. I took a break for like almost a year. But unfortunately, over the winter months, winter here in Northern Hemisphere, there's too much going on. All the shows I watch are coming out all at once. And so I'm going to be too overwhelmed to continue doing these Star Trek episode reviews. But hopefully March, can't wait that long, I'll be able to get back to doing them. But I will have 5 more coming for these polls here, and plus a couple more Patreon polls as well. So I'll keep you busy or keep me busy anyway, until at least November to hold you over. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's select 5 episodes at random for each of the 5 polls that you can vote in, and I'll put the link in the description below to take you to Straw Poll, and I'll put all 5 links. You can go to each of them, vote in each of them once, not more than once, but you can vote in all 5 of them. Anyway, so let's start with the original series poll, which will be my first one, which I will air around October 10th or 11th. Give or take. Anyway, let's just get to it then. Okay, here we go. First off, let's do Star Trek the original series. And the first option is Arena. Arena, the classic Gorn lizard costume suit going rawr, rawr. My brother recently reviewed the original series. He hated this episode. This episode is actually quite well liked. I think I remember it being decent, so it would be interesting to revisit it to see how I still feel about it. Alright, next option for the original series is Cat's Paw, which this episode is horrible. If you want an episode for me to totally trash and rip apart, this is like this cheesy Halloween episode. Captain Kirk! Oh my god. So if you want me to rip an episode apart, you can go for that one. Next option, original series, The Omega Glory, another horrible episode. This one's not quite as cheesy as the other one, but it does have them reading from a fucked up thing of independence, a pledge allegiance to flag. I mean, oh my god. It's just shit. Anyway, let's get to the next option, I already did the Menagerie, so I'll have to select something else. Sorry. You can check that one out on my channel. The Mark of Gideon. This episode's okay. It's got some logical flaws in the plot there, but it's it's all right. Kirk beams down to a planet, but it looks like to be a replica of the Enterprise, and his chick starts hitting on him, but then he realizes that the world's like super overpopulated, and they want him to give his disease to the chick so she can spread a disease in this because this world's free of disease, and they want to introduce disease to cull the population. Yeah, it's okay, I guess. Anyway, the last option for the original series is Assignment Earth. God, so many horrible episodes. This episode was a failed pilot for a stupid show Roddenberry wanted to do, and of course it never got made because it's dumb, and they just shoehorn in Kirk and Spock into the 20th century to try to, it's like the James Bond time travel ripoff thing. It looks so dumb. So it's another episode if you really want me to make fun of. You can select. Okay, so let's go to the Next Generation poll. This episode review will air sometime around October 23rd. So I'll give you 5 options from the Next Generation for you to vote for. Let's see, the first option, which is disaster. This is like your typical disaster. It's like a space earthquake where reads like a typical disaster movie. I actually enjoyed this episode. It's like good characterizations. See Troy in charge of the Enterprise. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. It was pretty interesting, so I could review that one. Next is the Survivors. One of the truly underrated episodes of The Next Generation. I love this episode. I put it in my top 10. Everyone's like, oh, you put the Survivors in your top 10. It doesn't belong there. Yes, it does. This episode is amazing. Picard was the fucking man episode. And it is a cool mystery when they had this planet and there's 2 survivors and everyone else was killed by an alien attack. No one knows why these 2 people survived. Amazing episode. Anyway, let me get to the next one, which is I already did Chain of Command, so you can check that out on my channel. So I'll have to select another one, and it's going to be Cupid. Average Q episode. I didn't hate this. And, Q takes the crew to Sherwood Forest to play out Robin Hood. It was a bit cheesy, but it's fine. I mean, there's some funny moments, and I guess. Anyway, next one, Legacy, a boring episode where they bring in Tasha Yar's sister, and she betrays them. What a shocker. Not really much to say about it. It was kind of boring. Anyway, last option for Next Gen. Darmok. I already did a review on Darmok, so I shall have to select. You can check that out on my channel already if you want to see that. Select again, and Suddenly Human, another boring 4th season episode. I didn't like the ending of this episode. I didn't really like what this episode had to say, and it was like this Picard being an ass around teenagers, and let's introduce another alien species and pretend like they were there the whole time, then we never see them again. Didn't really like that episode either, but me to review that, I can do. Alright, now let's get into the options for the Deep Space Nine poll. And this episode review will air sometime around October 30th. So this is your spooky Halloween review. So maybe I should have done Cat's Paw on this one. Captain Kirk. No, fuck that. Anyway, let's see the Deep Space Nine options. First option is going to be Chimera. This is when Odo finds another changeling, but he's one of the 100, like from the people, as teenagers sent to Earth because they would see if it was habitable. Oh wait, that's not a different 100. He's a changeling. Yeah, that's a bit of a dick. I thought this episode was okay. It was good. It was decent. I didn't think it was anything special. I like the Kira-Odo relationship, I'll tell you that much. Okay. Next option is Image in the Sand. I've already done a review for that, and the other 2 that in this 3-parter, so you can check that out on my channel. I had to select another one. Valiant also, they did this. I probably would trash it more than I did last time. I don't think I trashed this episode enough last time. It's Sucks. Not good. Anywho, select another one. Distant Voices, talking about trashing an episode. Here's an episode that was really the trash. I talked about this in my worst Deep Space Nine episodes video. It's the Bashir becomes old in his mind, and he's like, he's such a horrible actor. Okay, so that's your next option if you want me to trash something. And after that, we get. No, I already did. God damn it, Distant Voices. Come on, give me a different option. Once More Into the Breach. Yeah, some people really like this episode. I'm not one of them. I don't hate it. I just think it's fine. It's bland. It's, Klingons doing Klingon things. I didn't think it was anything remarkable. But if you want me to review that, I can. Cool. Next option, Family Business, a stupid Ferengi episode when we introduced to Moogie. This episode's actually okay as far as Ferengi episode goes, but it's kind of just, a Ferengi episode, so what do you want? Anyway, next option is Paradise Lost. I just did a review for that one, so you missed out on that. You can check it on my channel. Time to Stand. I've already recorded my review for this. Haven't released it as of yet, but I've already done it. So, gotta select another one. Come on, give me some variety here. Our Man Bashir, another one I have already done. God, see, this is the problem here. I've done so much Deep Space Nine. It just keeps on suggesting things I've already done. Cool, so let's get into, I think, our final option. God damn it! I fucking already did Shadows and Symbols. Alright. The Adversary. I have not done The Adversary yet. I think this is a great episode. The season 3 finale, where there's a changeling infiltrator on a Defiant trying to fuck things up, is a very intense episode. I think it's another underrated episode from the most underrated season of the show, season 3, which is the second best season of the show. You know it's true, it is. And this is why. This episode is just great. But anyway, those are our options for DS9. Alright, now we get into the Voyager option, because you guys never select. I think it only happened one time where Voyager won the poll. You guys just don't like Voyager episodes, but I'm going to force you to select one for me to review. This review will air sometime around November 7th, hopefully. These dates could all drastically change, but I'll try to keep them the same. First option is Blink of an Eye. Yes, please. This was an option before. You guys didn't select it. Now you have another chance. This is one of my favorite episodes. I love this episode. It's when they find the planets moving. Time moves extremely fast, so they see the race evolve. And it's absolutely not ripped off from the book. It's just kind of loosely based on it. That's the fact. I'll probably talk about in my review anyway. So if you want to select that awesome episode, you can. And the next one we get is Infinite Regress. And I think I used to hate this episode. I think last time I saw it, I thought it was okay, but I think the ending's just really cheesy. Jerry Ryan was good in it. She was a good actor, but it was kind of dumb that she was like, her people she assimilated were like taking over her body and whatever. And this, like, they all happen to be from the fucking Alpha Quadrant. Anyway, let's choose another Voyager episode. Come on. There you go. Another Voyager episode. Let's go. Fairhaven. Alright, if you want to hear me rip an episode to shreds, this is one of the worst episodes of Voyager. One of the worst episodes of the fucking franchise. God damn, this episode sucks. Who cares? They go to the holodeck to be an Irish pub, and Janeway, he wants to fall in love with this guy, so he keeps manipulating his program. It's bullshit. Anyway. Another Voyager option we got is Fury. I know many of you probably expect me to also trash this, but I actually wouldn't. I don't think it's a very good episode, don't get me wrong, but it's not that bad. I don't think it's as horrible as a lot of people hold it to be. Granted, they shouldn't have brought Kes back. She had a proper send-off with the gift, and to bring her back for this episode to give her a shitty send-off and ruin her character is not very wise. But I did like the nostalgia with the Vidine, I gotta admit. Anyway, so our last Voyager option is Mortal Coil. This is one of the episodes I didn't see when the show. I didn't see it till like years after the show finished airing, or at least years after this episode aired, and I didn't think much of it at first, but then on my recent rewatch, I actually really liked this episode. So this would be an interesting episode to review. I'll be able to go a deep dive. This is one when Neelix dies and Seven's nanoprobes bring him back to life, but he suffers trauma over his near-death experience. It's a pretty good character episode. This is one of the episodes that actually use Neelix correctly. As I always talk about, that people hate Neelix, but I think he can be used correctly, and this is an example of that, so I can review that if you like. Okay, so it's been a long time, but now we're at the Enterprise, and this review will air sometime around November 23rd or 21st. Or around that area. So I had to get a random number generator for this one because it's not good enough to be in the episode generator. So let's see what we got here. So this might take a bit longer, but we got season 1, and I believe there's 22 episodes in season 1. Episode 5. Season 1, episode 5. What have we got? What do we got? What is it? Is it unexpected? Because yeah, it is unexpected, which I've already reviewed. Gosh darn it! Now I have to select a different one. You can check out a review for that one if you want. Season 3, I believe there's 23. If I want to be, I don't know if I'm getting these numbers. All right, season 3, episode 2. I think that's sounding like something I have not reviewed. Anomaly. Yeah, I have. God damn it. Alright, now I have reviewed Anomaly. Alright. Let's try this again. Season 2, episode... Season 2... I think there's 22 for episode 2, right? Episode 9. Alright. Season 2, episode 9. Let's go. Something we haven't gotten yet. And it is... Singularity! Okay, so I talked about this in my recent season 2 review, and I hated this episode. Is when they all start acting like crazy and obsessed over something because they're too close to a singularity, and Reed invents the Reed alert. Stop talking about your Reed alert. Ugh. God. I could have a lot of fun with this review, to be honest, ripping this one to shreds. This is the season 2 for Enterprise for you. It's full of shit episodes. Season 2 again, speaking of the devil with your shit episodes, let's see what we got. Episode 8. Well, I'll make it easy to find. It is The Communicator. This one was really boring, really dull. They get captured, and Reed and Archer get tortured, and who gives a shit? This episode sucks. Anyway, third option, season 4. Okay, season 4. I think there's, 19 for season 4, I want to say? Season 4, episode 1. Off the top of my head, that's Stormfront. I don't even have to look that up. Stormfront part 1 and 2. I'll do it together as a two-parter. I have not reviewed that yet, so I think it's okay. And it's a parallel universe. They go back in past, and the parallel universe where the Nazis take over because the Temporal Cold War, people were fucking with the timeline. And sort of very quickly wraps up the Temporal Cold War just to get it out of the way. Which I think they could have done a better job because they didn't reveal who Future Guy is. Come on, what the fuck? But at least they killed off Silik. So it's a decent episode if you want me to review it. Anyway, next option, season 3. Okay, hopefully this is something I haven't covered yet. I should look up how many episodes are in each season. I don't actually remember. Oh well. One. I already did that. Fucking hell. Alright, let's do it again. Season 3. No, actually, no, I didn't. Sorry. I haven't done Season 3, Episode 1, because that is the Xindi. I actually have not done a review. I talked about that on my Season 3 video, but it's a decent start, similar to Time to Stand Deep Space Nine. It begins the story arc and sort of slowly gets you into it, and it does its job of that. So, it's a decent episode. Okay, so let us go again. Season 4. Episode, let's just say 19, I guess. I don't know. Episode 3, that's Home, isn't it? Which I am doing a review for. We're going to release in a couple weeks, so gotta select another one. And season 2, oh, Joy. Thank you. Season 2. Episode 14. Alright, what we got here? Season 2, episode 14 is Stigma. This episode's okay, I guess. It's a very obvious and blatant AIDS discrimination episode that really makes the Vulcans dickheads, and it pissed me off. I mean, even more so than Enterprise tends to do. And it has a side plot with Phlox's wife hitting on Trip, which I thought was kind of dumb too. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay, I guess, but not going to give it high praise or anything. Okay, so those are your options for the 5 polls to take you all the way through November. You can vote in those polls in the link in the description below. It'll take you to a straw poll. Will be one link for each of the 5 polls, so you can click on and vote as many polls as you want. Just vote only once per poll. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys in those reviews. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.